welcome. And so in this video, I'm going to talk about scale drawings, right? So there's a lot of places where we end up dealing with scale models or scale drawings. And one of those places is on maps, right? So you ever see in the legend over on the map, it'll give you the scale distance, right? It'll say like 1 inch is equal to 30 kilometers or 300 kilometers or something like that. Okay, so that's what we call scale. Okay, so we take things that are in the real world and we scale them down. We do this with ships, right? We do scale models of buildings, like architectural design, right? So when we do architecture, right? And we design buildings or we design landscape, we create a scale model, right? So it helps us build something to see what it's going to look like. So maps are a common way of doing that, to give us a scaled down view so we can calculate and see how far we're away or two cities are away. So in this example here, we have a scale drawing, and what we're looking for is we have Toronto, Chicago, and Philadelphia. So the map, so this is on a map. So the map says that 1 centimeter equals 200 kilometers. Okay. So now, here it says Toronto and Chicago is 3.5 centimeters. And from Toronto to Philadelphia, it's 2.7 centimeters. Now here's the thing. Think about it as a giant triangle. If we took and we went back whoop, all the way up to the real mileage, kilometers, it'd be huge, right? So what we're doing is we're taking and scaling everything down, shrinking it down, but to scale. So everything is similar, right? So in this case, we know we're dealing with similar triangles, right? So we know that this distance is proportional to the real distance, right? And we know that 1 centimeter is equal to 200 centimeters. This is giving us a proportion, right? That's how this is the proportion. Remember, all the proportions must be equal. This has to be proportional to the real distance. This distance has to be proportional to the real distance between Toronto and Philadelphia. But we have what that proportion always, remember, the proportions must always be the same. Well, here's that constant, if you will. We know that 1 centimeter equals 200 kilometers. So that means we could write it as a fraction. 1 to 200 centimeters to kilometers. So we know that this proportion, so this value has to be proportional to the real value or the real distance. Let's call that x, right? So let's say that x equals the real distance from Toronto to Chicago. So, well, what do we need to do? We need to set up a proportion, right? So how are we going to do that? Well, we've got the distance in centimeters, 3.5 centimeters, and that we're going to put over x, which is the unknown. That's what we're trying to find, the real distance from Toronto to Chicago, and that has to be equal to this proportion here, which is 1 centimeter to 200 kilometers. Now what I can do is instead of doing what I did last time by multiplying both sides by x and then multiplying both sides by 200 and then dividing by 1 centimeter or what have you, what I can do is if I flip this fraction here, then as long as I flip this fraction here, they're both going to stay the same, right? If I flip both fractions, they're still going to be the same, right? You see that. So let's do that. So let's write this as x over 3.5 is equal to 200 over 1. And now all I have to do is multiply both sides by 3.5. And so what do I get? I get x equals 200 times 3.5, which is what? 700 miles. Or, I'm sorry, 700 kilometers. Now, I do the same thing for the distance between Toronto and Philadelphia. Right? So if I make that y, if I make the true distance y, then I can do y over 2.7 centimeters. So y kilometers over 2.7 centimeters would have to equal 200 kilometers over 1 centimeter. See how I just matched up the units? And so now I can solve this one by multiplying both sides by 2.7, and the distance from Toronto to Philadelphia turns out to be what? 5,400. Is that right? Yeah, 5,400. Or not 5,400, 540 kilometers. And that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. And again, just practice these, and they'll get easier. Have a great day.